I seek the blessings of Sri Satya Sai Baba before I speak with you. Humble pranams to my father, my mother. Humble pranams to your parents. Sudhirji already spoke about the importance of parents in everybody's lives. And I think it's important to understand the role that they play, the sacrifices they do, to do everything possible for you to have this education, this life, and a brighter future. So I think we do owe them a great debt. So Sudhir, thank you for getting those words out, because parents mean everything to us. And just like God, unconditional love is only given by the parents. So I bow down to all the parents here. I bow down to my father and my mother. I seek the blessings of all the saints that have blessed this campus, because of whom we've been able to progress, because of whom we've been able to develop. And I feel there is a great spiritual energy that backs this organization, without which we wouldn't have been able to do so much work. There is a lot to be done. We continue to strive for excellence. We continue to grow our organization. We continue to deploy good people and bring out graduates that eventually will change the world. We faced the pandemic recently, and I believe education was greatly disrupted. It was all a great learning for us, because we saw so many tragedies across the world, across India. And I feel this batch is extremely resilient, because they have seen things which no other batch will be able to see. Perhaps COVID was an experience which was widely shared across the world, and the only experience that was shared by the entire planet. So this batch particularly is interesting, because you've been doing offline learning and you've been doing online learning. But that does not mean you didn't get the education that you deserved. I think it was a challenging time for educational institutes as well. The teachers had to innovate, the faculty had to innovate, and teaching online was a real challenge. But I think we adapted very quickly. Our country also adapted very quickly. Now that is in the past, and we are forging ahead and looking forward to beyond India. So truly an interesting batch, and I don't think such a batch will ever exist again. So all the best to you, because you faced that challenge very bravely, very valiantly. And I believe you're all graduates here because you put in that hard work even during COVID. Personally, it has always been my desire to speak about the Indian educational system, which is the ancient educational system that we already had. I always speak about the Guru Shishya Parampara that our great nation always had. And somewhere down the lines, I feel that some of these knowledge systems have been given a backseat. The excellent knowledge that exists in the Indian education system should be brought back to the Indian education system. As a university, we are now launching an Advanced Indian Sciences Center, where we will be looking at all the ancient Indian knowledge systems that prevailed. Because this knowledge is there. The West is merely rediscovering what has already been written in our scriptures, what has already been given to many of the individuals across India. So we are working on systems where we'll combine the traditional sciences. I always say that there should be an amalgamation of the East and the West. So we are firmly committed to this department. We put in people in place. We are working diligently in the background, both to offer online as well as offline classes. And in the words of Swami Vivekananda, I say, education is the manifestation of perfection already existing in humans. I always again talk that the students who graduate should merely not just go out and look for jobs, just should not look for setting up their own units and factories. Of course, they should look at success, they should look at doing all these things. But at the same time, I think we should follow the passions of truth, non-violence, and compassion, because these are ingrained in our DNA. I think we need to keep the selfish gene a bit aside and look and think about the greater good for the humanity and for the betterment of the planet. I think Sudhir spoke a little bit about motivation to the students. But like he said, life is a journey. You have to fail, and only through failures you achieve success. It's not a rocket to success that you can get. It's a slow process. You have to be extremely patient. You have to understand, because all the people who have reached places of success, there's extreme hard work behind them. They've worked dedicatedly, they've worked passionately. There are very few individuals by chance of luck who've reached success and have been there. But those are miracles, those are very limited. So you have to work hard. Any success that needs to be achieved, you have to work hard. You have to go through the ups and downs of lives to understand that success is not an easy ladder to climb. You have to keep trying, you have to keep trying, and you have to keep going. Eventually you will. But you have to have that dedicated passion within you, with an unwavering mind, with a positive thought that I will achieve it, I will be there. And most important is, don't hide your mistakes. If you make a mistake, own up to it. Think about it. You can always innovate, you can improvise, you can retrospect, you can reflect on what you did wrong, because that allows a real human being to grow. So life is a journey, continue with it. I look at life as a dream. One life is like a dream, and this dream should be beautiful. It depends on how you make that dream come true. We have some famous dignitaries on stage. The university is deeply honored with the acceptance of these doctorates. I would like to name Sri Tushar Mendale, Dr. Pradeep Kurulkar, Sri Pandurang Rautji, Sri Suresh Kattaji, Nitin Desai ji, and Sri Sudhir Mehta for accepting this honor. Because by accepting this honor, you also demonstrate the ability to reflect into students that you believe in this university. It's a great honor for us, for you to have accepted this doctorate. So we're very grateful that you're here. And your presence, I believe, will certainly inspire the students. When I talk about success, success sits on this dais, and these individuals have each inspiring stories. You should Google them, you should research them, you should find them. Some of them may even mentor you. Sudhir mentioned that he has a number of students in his organization. Tushar has a number of students in his organization. So I believe you can connect with these individuals to understand from their successes, from their failures. Because listening is very important. Listening is extremely important. Guidance is very important. No matter what, any significant thought, any insignificant thought should always be heard, evaluated. That will give you some direction in life on how to go ahead. Prime Minister Modi always says, Vasudev Kutumbakam. We are one organization, we are one planet. The whole planet is our home. I'll just give you an example of the human body. If you're running from A to B, it's just not this human that's running from A to B. It's just not Ajeenkya Patil going from A to B. With him, there are a lot of microorganisms within him. There is an ecosystem within his body that is also going with him. Without that ecosystem, without that microorganisms, without all the things that put this beautiful body in place, the human cannot go from A to B. Similarly, I think we need to understand that we are all connected. We are all connected. And one must shed away with all your selfish thought. One must shed away with your ego. One must shed away with pride. One must shed away with hate. One must shed away with jealousy. And think about how we can love each other, how we can live in harmony, how we can live in glory, how we can make the lives of other individuals better. There are so many people on the planet who do not get food to eat, who do not get access to education, who do not have jobs, and who do not have the privileges. I believe that you, as the future, have to think a little different. At least the students from my university, that's an oath that I wish to take from you, that you will go out there and make a change. Not for one individual, not for two individuals, but for several individuals. Do it in your own way. I'm sure you'll do it. Listen to my intent very carefully. Please make this a mission in life that I will change the lives of certain people. I think to achieve that, first you have to be successful. One must be happy within itself. Happiness is also very relative, because one man's happiness could be someone's sadness. But I believe that you should be content with what you have. You should be able to fathom what you can and cannot have, because I don't think you should compare yourselves to anyone. Because if you keep comparing yourselves to someone, there will always be someone greater, bigger, or superior. It doesn't matter. As long as you are happy within yourself doing what you can do, I believe you have achieved success. So success is a ladder that you need to climb with your own heart, with your own passion, with your own emotions. And keep that in mind. Never compare yourself to others. Make an example to others. With several students today, I took selfies, and many of them were telling me that we want to take selfies with you. And I've said this to students earlier, that I hope that you come one day to this campus, or I come to some event where I would need to take a selfie with you. That's how great I want you to be. And that's happened. Many of our students are today leading Fortune 500 companies. They are around the world. They are global leaders. They head organizations like Microsoft, Google, Infosys, Tata. There are so many such individuals from our organization, and I think they've done well for themselves. Anywhere in the West, whether it's the United States or it's the United Kingdom, you see there is a lot of industry interaction that happens. A lot of industry sponsors the facilities. They put up research facilities. And I believe India is lacking a little in research because it's been many years that no inventions have come out of India. And most of the inventions were there in our ancient days. But often we live in the past and often we think about the future, but we don't grab the now. So I think it's important to grab the now. We need to get some intellectual property out of India. It's happening. The youngsters are thinking very differently. You have access to technology. You have access to a globally connected world. You have access to a country which has great leadership. And you have access to excellent facilities. So make the most of it. We have a gratitude for individuals who have made a difference to education in Maharashtra. Vinod Tawdeji took the step in the right direction to allow private universities to be set up in Maharashtra, and it was because of his leadership that these universities flourished. Devendra Fadnavis ji is another individual who I owe a great debt to, because under his leadership, this university was given the status that it deserved, which we were struggling for many, many years. So these are some inspiring people who inspire you, how one individual can make a difference. Because that act and the thought that those leaders thought of today has culminated into all these graduates who will go out, create change, and meaningfully be deployed for the country and the world. Because I'm sure you will make a change. So that's how education is contributing to the development of the nation. Education has always been looked at as a charity, as a service. But I believe education should be looked as a sector. It should be looked as a sector which can bring in great wealth to the country, which can generate lot of employment, which can generate lot of individuals who can come into the system and contribute to the betterment of the country. My father was to attend this graduation today. However, he's now aged a little bit, so I didn't want to trouble him to sit on this dais for very long, but he sends his blessings. He's not been keeping too well, but every time I meet him, I greet him, he smiles at me. And I remember I started working at a very young age. I started when I was 13 or 14. I used to accompany him everywhere. Even coming back from school, I was always interested in work. I wanted to be a scientist. I didn't want to be an educationist. But today I'm happy that I'm an educationist because we can create many more scientists. We can create many more doctors. One scientist wouldn't have made a difference. So many of you certainly can. And Dada used to tell me that there is a dream that I have. There is a dream that his father had. His father couldn't complete that dream. So he said, I'm trying to complete that dream. He says, if I can't complete that dream, you complete that dream. If you can't complete that dream, your next generation needs to complete that dream. So that's the vision that we have for the growth of this nation. That's the vision, that's the commitment, that's the dedication that this family has for the development of this nation. And we'll work relentlessly to make that possible, to better the lives of the people. We are also setting up a medical school at this campus. Work on the hospital will begin in a couple of months. We are also doing a Ati Rudra Puja from the 9th to the 19th February, and I invite you all to attend this puja because this puja is just not for the development of the campus. There is a great significance in this yagna. This yagna creates powerful energy, which again energize the entire society around you. It is for the betterment of the world. It is for the betterment of humanity. So please visit. The Ati Rudra will happen in the campus from the 9th to the 19th February. I'm a follower of Satya Sai Baba. Before I go, I would like to quote him. He says, and I quote, there is only one caste, that's the caste of humanity. There is only one language, the language of the heart. And there is only one religion, the religion of love. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, thank you very much. God bless you all. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.